No problem. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cash Alternative TV. This is CATV Live on Cash Alternative TV. It's a channel about cryptocurrency with a focus on Dash, which aims to be a digital cash for the world, an alternative to cash. If that's something that you're interested in, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss an episode. Now, for my regular viewers, you might wonder, why am I doing an interview with AnyPay when this is the day I'm supposed to be doing my news recap? Well, Steven Zeiler from AnyPay, who I have with me, he was available today and he wanted to do an interview about the suspension of Bitcoin. He wants to talk about a new URL protocol for payments, and we're going to discuss crypto competition. So the Cash Alternative recap is going to be tomorrow, and today we have Steven Zeiler from AnyPay. So I'm your host, Christopher Carruthers, also known as Tao of Satoshi, and today we have Steven Zeiler from AnyPay. Welcome to the show, Steven.
Thank you, Christopher. It's a great pleasure to be here with you.
So you were telling an interesting story off before we went online here. You were saying that you're supposed to be going to a Dash meetup today. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was supposed to be going to a Dash meetup. This meetup has been going for a few years here in my hometown of Portsmouth at a brewery. And they decided to move to a new town because there's more Dash users over in Dover, New Hampshire. So I started driving over there, and it's super cold. It's the coldest. I moved here from Texas, but it's super cold.
Oh, yeah. And Texas is warm. You must be suffering over there.
Well, it's okay, but I have an electric car, and it said it had like a 50-mile range or something left. But I was always driving. For every mile I went, it dropped down like 5 or 6 miles. So like the battery doesn't work. So I ended up not being able to make it, but fortunately made it back here in time to be with you.
Perfect.
And then what they're doing is they're going to be talking to the manager of that brewery to ask them if they would be interested in having consistently more customers who want to pay in a new way.
Okay. So is that going to be asking them to adopt AnyPay or adopt Dash? Which one?
Well, that's the same thing. So adopting AnyPay and adopting Dash generally go hand in hand in a retail bar restaurant kind of environment, because AnyPay was built for Dash, first of all, to be a Dash cash register a few years ago that we began. And every business that I know of that has that accepts Dash in their local business uses AnyPay to do it.
Okay. So you're a big supporter of Dash, as is AnyPay. Can you explain how you got involved in Dash and how it is that AnyPay became a Dash a point of sale operator?
Yeah, I love alternative money, and I learned a lot about money my whole life, and I want to build the best money that the most people can use, and it makes the whole world efficient and peaceful. And I got into Bitcoin a long time ago, and various money technologies. I worked at Ripple Inc. or Ripple Labs for a few years, where I learned about the technology that actually is instant send. And I was always really into the technology behind instant send, which they also built within the Ripple system. And I was big into, I wanted to make sure that Ripple was decentralized. And what I wanted to do was set up a thing like the master nodes, where everyone gets paid for operating the network. But they didn't want to go that way. And so I discovered Dash in researching how to do this. I thought, this is awesome. They have the instant send technology, and they have dividends, which was awesome. It's like this new age kind of company. So I got into that. And then I was living in San Francisco, going around trying to get businesses to use Bitcoin and giving them BitPay and trying to make that happen. I don't know if anyone else experienced trying to get people to adopt cryptocurrency or Bitcoin. And I found no one wanted to do it. But I met a bunch of people who did want to spend Bitcoins, but it wasn't Bitcoin, it was Dash. And so all this came together, and I was like, wow, these are the only people who actually care about living the way that they're talking and using digital cash. So I wanted to support that and capitalize on that opportunity to grow a business. So in a few years back at PorkFest, we made our first implementation, like hacking over the weekend in the woods, and built the first point of sale for Dash.
Okay.
And it was horrible. We've come a long way. Now we're a company. We have different revenue streams, and our Dash point of sale is growing more and more. It's most popular, though not in our area, but in Thailand.
Yeah, you were mentioning that before we went on air. I found that hard to believe. I thought it would be in your home area.
Yeah, well, if you want to find out, you can see our map, anypaymap.com, and search Bangkok, and you'll see all the places. And this map is really cool too. Like, oh, there's so many frustrating things in the Dash world, the Bitcoin world, and one of them is a registry or a map that is accurate. I've talked to so many people who they go to different map or a different list of merchants, and it's completely old. Like none of the businesses actually still use Bitcoin, and they don't know. So there's a lot of uncertainty. So with what we did, we made this map. It's a registry of businesses, but it plugs into our cash register. So it only updates live information. So you look on our map, there's different colors for all the businesses. And the green one means someone's been there using Dash in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. And so
that's a great idea.
It's been going for a while, and it helps so much, because before, if you put in a bunch of effort to talk to a business manager, teach them about Dash, then if no one went, then it would fall off it would fall off the map, and they would forget how to do it, or they might get a new manager or something, and no one knew. You wouldn't know, are people going to that place? We don't even know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've thought about this a million times. Like, is this actually happening in X place in the world where we've invested time and energy? So with this, it tells you, yes, people are going there. And even better, it tells you when they're not. So like if it becomes yellow, then it's been a while. Maybe that's just not a popular place. If it's red, then they're like in danger of falling off the map.
Got it. Yeah.
And yeah. And
so what is the threshold for yellow and the threshold for red? Do you know offhand?
I think that yellow is more than 2 weeks, and red is more than like a month. It's on the chart. It's on the map.
Okay.
Yeah. And that might change over time depending on how. Well, we want to keep everyone green. So we want to make different incentives for people to make them red or green. And we actually have some awesome incentives. And this is a big reason why Dash is spreading in this area. One is our cash back. Every time you go to any of these places on the map, you pay with Dash, with any Dash wallet, doesn't matter. You instantly get 10% right back to your wallet.
Okay.
And this has been going on for years. It's pretty awesome. But even better than that, for the guys or gals who set up a business, say they go talk to the business manager, they say, hey, we want to use Dash. And the best way is with this AnyPay app. Then every time someone goes to spend Dash there, that person who helped activate the business, they get 1% of all the payments. Okay. I don't know if that makes sense, but it
does. Yeah, the person gets the cash back, and the merchant gets some as well. Yeah, so
the merchant doesn't get it. The guy who's a Dash enthusiast.
Yeah.
Say there's like a restaurant near you where you like to go, and you would talk to the manager, and then you would get credit.
Oh, kind of like a commission. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's our ambassador reward program. And it's great. Like I always get these like little bits of Dash in my wallet. I set up a couple places. Most of the places were me, but I get some. That's cool. So like our cash register is really unique because we have all these different programs that are built around it that work with it. Like the map is awesome. Soon there's going to be a leaderboard on the map. And like we have all this real-time information. And we even have anypaycharts.com where you can see live data. Well, it's like month. Sometimes it doesn't go till the end of the month. But we have charts about how much Dash is being used and which currency, which place it's being used. Yeah, I think it's great.
So are you in contact with Sasha from Dash Thailand? Does he use your stuff? Is that why there's so many businesses in Thailand that use
Oh, of course,
AnyPay?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I call with Sasha all the time.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, what we're working on now is there's this exchange provider out of Singapore, and what they're gonna hopefully offer is Dash to Thai bot, this API that we can integrate into the cash register, so that whenever you pay with Dash, the business can get Thai bot in their bank account.
Okay.
Which some businesses might not choose that. They might choose to just receive Dash because there's like no fees at all. But some businesses want Thai bot. So Sasha is helping me work with this exchange to get that in there. Sasha really wants it because, yeah, they have 50 active businesses, but they have so many people there that they think they can get a lot more if they can convert to the Thai bot.
Okay.
So that's exciting. Yeah, we work with Sasha and Felix too, and a bunch of people there.
I do think it's important, like that point that you just brought up. I think it's important to have an option, like to say, okay, you can put it all in Dash, or you can put half and half, or you can put it all in Fiat. But I think if we're trying to push this new technology on people, we do have to give them that little buffer of saying, you know what, we're not going to say you have to only accept this. You can also change it to your currency of choice if you'd like to. But then over time, you can see how Dash works, and maybe you'll want to accept more of it, right? I do think that that's important to have that buffer there when you're trying to push this new technology.
Right. And of course, there are trade-offs, because if it's just Dash, then if everyone tomorrow decided they wanted to use Dash, then all they have to do is download an app, and then boom, they're ready to go. No ID, none of that, no bank accounts or anything. And that would be awesome. So it can spread faster, except people aren't ready for that. And if you want to have a bank account, then it requires a lot more verification, and you have to work within the banking framework. But you're totally right. And I think I think we do want people to only use Dash as much as possible. And what we can do is offer incentives to business owners to learn how to just use the Dash, or try to make it even better for them if they get it and then use it. And if we can find ways where Dash becomes more powerful than their bank account, for instance, then we can convince more people to just use Dash instead of trying to convert it.
Perfect. So if you're just joining us, I'm here talking with Steven Zeiler from AnyPay. He's the CEO, and we're talking about various crypto issues. As we all know, Dash is a good method of exchange for making any payments online. But as we know, there's other currencies such as Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, and actual Bitcoin Core, the first one and only Bitcoin, according to some people. But yeah, so I guess you've been having some issues there at AnyPay with Bitcoin proper. So can you give us an idea of what it is that led you to suspending Bitcoin payments?
Boy, we've had issues with BTC ever since day one. Well, it wasn't really day one. Day one was just Dash. Okay, and then that was a long time ago. No one knew about Dash. And they were all saying, "Oh, well, we want the BTC also." So we added it in to just help convince people to install the app, so that then we could use Dash.
Good.
And for the most part, that's what happened. Most of the people who put in, it's easy to use the AnyPay app. You just put in your Dash address to the app, and that's it. So most people put in their Dash and their BTC address, but they never. People at the meetup saying they're missing me.
It's too bad. Really you got to get a gas car for the wintertime, I guess.
I know, man. I got to figure that out. They never really used BTC that much because it was slow and expensive.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you try the two side by side, it's like night and day, and it's just a matter of showing people that over time.
That's right. Yeah, and then one big problem is that BTC also changes a lot, and a lot of the changes introduce a lot different vulnerabilities that are bad for businesses. And so that's what we encountered. So not only was it slow and inexpensive and less people use BTC, but also it's more dangerous and more of a risk. And I'm conflicted because I want to give people all the options that they want to pay, but also I want to protect people from fraud when I can. And it seems like with BTC, it's way easier to commit fraud probably than if you use Dash and you have instant send and you have the chain locks technology. It's pretty solid.
Yep.
So I was waiting. There's this one major vulnerability in BTC, and I was basically waiting for some major wallets to add it. And basically, now there's wallets where you can just press cancel payment like 5 minutes later. So you could go buy something at a store and then pay with BTC and then leave and press cancel on your wallet, and then it just cancels.
Wow. Really? Wow.
Yeah, like so there's a guy made a video of it and was like, look, so we're finally here. You know, they put this in the protocol a while back, but it wasn't worth. I thought it was dumb and probably BTC no one would use it very much. And so when this came out, I had to suspend it to make sure we knew. So we might restore BTC, but we're not going to add any extra features for it. Like we have all these awesome features we're developing for coins that have their act together. Mm-hmm. And we'll probably warn people to look for other alternatives.
Okay, so let me ask you this: like, for those people who don't know, let me do a quick explanation of what a double spend is. So if you send a transaction, a Bitcoin transaction that has replaced by fee, you can cancel the transaction and add a higher fee to a new transaction, and you can send it to a different address. And yeah. And this is only something that you can do in Bitcoin. So I want to ask you, Steven, like, how can you even accept Bitcoin if you know that this is going to be happening behind the scenes? Like, what kind of security measures do you have to detect if this is happening and stop it? Or is it even possible?
We can't stop it. So now we do detect that it's happening. And it will say that it's happening. The problem is, and this is really frustrating, cashiers and business managers don't need to know about this kind of stuff. They need to know about running their business and their staff, their people, keeping their customers happy. They don't want to know about technical things, about number of confirmations or transaction IDs or block explorers or any of that. And even just what we want the experience to be is so much better than anything anyone has ever seen. And all this thing about warnings and edge cases with BTC and delays and fees, it doesn't make much sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I honestly, I'm flabbergasted by that. Like, how could a payment network give a person an opportunity to commit fraud? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why? How could they even call themselves a payment network if that's possible to be happening?
It's entirely possible that the network and BTC itself is taken over by people who are looking to commit fraud.
Wow.
I don't know that's conjecture, but it definitely will attract people. So any system that enables fraud is going to attract fraudsters. Mm-hmm. And I don't like that. So I really like protocols that are simple and they don't change. Like for like techie geeks, I use the TCP protocol. It's really simple, doesn't change much. It allows me to transmit data. And that's why I'm happy with Dash. With Dash Evolution, they decided to not change the Dash core protocol. And instead, they moved a lot of things to a separate system that's built on top of that. And I thought that's good because the core protocol has got to stay really just stable. Like in order for AnyPay and other people like me to build, we have to have a foundation that isn't going to change, where like now people can cancel payments or something.
I'm speechless. I didn't realize there was that much of a problem. I didn't realize that wallets were actually had that feature inside a wallet. That, like, I understand it's a protocol, like you can do it on the protocol level. I understand that, but I can't believe wallets are actually having that as a feature. Like, stop that payment. Okay, I'm just gonna walk out with my stuff and then stop it when I get outside.
Well, you'll find this really interesting. It comes down to incentives. So the first wallet that I heard of reporting this is Blue Wallet. Now, Blue Wallet is meant to be a Lightning Network wallet. That means that's something that's built on top of the BTC, but it's not really a Bitcoin payment.
Okay.
It's something separate. And it benefits at the expense of payments with the normal Bitcoin style payments. So if Bitcoin BTC is handicapped, it has high fees, or you can cancel payments, well, that's good for this alternative thing called Lightning Network that they are developing. And so they have this incentive. Even maybe they don't want to, maybe, but they have this odd incentive that might be messing things up. And then so as I did more research, the next big wallet to implement this is Green Wallet. Green Wallet is by Blockstream. And this company also has a competing separate system that hooks into the BTC but doesn't allow for real Bitcoin payments. So they also have an incentive to make or to not make payments with Bitcoin easy and fast. They have actually an incentive to make them slow and hard, so you have to use their side system. And maybe it's all good intentions, but this is how incentives end up playing out. Mm-hmm. And because different people have different incentives, if you have a system that can change, it will. So that's basically what happened. I see with BTC, it became not really Bitcoin.
Right.
It became a series of other side things, which could end up being really awesome, but like right now, it's not very good, and probably won't be very good.
All right, we're here with AnyPay CEO Steven Zeiler. Thanks for coming on the show. I have some things to talk about when it comes to security in Bitcoin and Dash. So we've been just talking about the security in Bitcoin, which isn't very good, and there are actually easy ways to defeat the security in Bitcoin. But I was talking recently with Darren Tapp. I don't know if you've met him. He's an associate research professor at Arizona State University, and he explained the security of Dash in an easier to understand way. So the moment that you press a transaction, it's automatically it's automatically instant sent. So it's automatically verified by a quorum of masternodes at the point of sending. Then you have the proof of work block that all the other currencies have. It puts it on the decentralized ledger. And then after that block's been created, you have something that locks that block with it's called chain locks. So it has another quorum of masternodes that lock the block. So you've got the transaction locked, you've got the block propagation, and you've got the block lock afterwards. So you've got triple level protection for that transaction that you send in Dash. And it's something that he explained it in that easy way to understand. And I was so grateful for that, because every time I talk to people now about the security of Dash, I can say it has triple protection next to anything else. And that's the exact order that it happens in.
Yeah, you're totally right. And Darren Tapp is awesome. And I see him frequently. He lives very close to me, only a few miles away. Nice. And you're right, it is triple protection. I mean, it sounds kind of silly, but the instant send, which is the first layer, it takes 3 to 5 seconds. And that uses a generally accepted algorithm for getting quick consensus among the network of masternodes. And that's really good. And I think that for the most part, that's shown to not have very many errors in reality.
Yep.
Or any at all. False positives, basically. And then that makes it way harder to attack. Then you have the proof of work, like you said, which creates a block. And I'm not entirely convinced that, so like if every chain had equal hashing power, Dash would be like by far the most secure.
Oh yeah.
And so I don't know if Dash will even, if they don't manage to get enough hashing power, they might have to get rid of that altogether, and it might be possible. But I don't know.
Here's the thing with that though, like Dash is the majority of the X11 hashing power. Like we have like the power of 10 more hashing power to the next available competition. So I think that's
right. It's X11, right?
Yeah, that's why. Like if we were using SHA-256 like the other ones, we would have much less hash power. But because we use X11, it's a different hashing power that uses a lot less energy and a lot less computational power. We have so much of that X11 hashing algorithm. Like I think we have more than the rest of the people that use it combined. So yeah, so our security is pretty good from that perspective also.
Awesome. Well, as far as X11 goes, is that X11 is based in memory, and that's one of the constraints, or I don't know.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's just a chain. It's just chained the hashing algorithms together. Like I'm not sure what they're all named, but there's, instead of the one hashing algorithm, they have 11 hashing algorithms chained together, and that's what they have to find the mathematical equation for.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, then in that case, it still applies. If Dash is the highest work in their category, probably that's going to be the most secure thing they can do. If it has the lowest, for some reason, I don't know, then they might have to abandon that. But either way, they have like multiple checks on it. So if something horrible happens with proof of work, they might still have I think they would still have a system that works maybe even better. Um, so it's good. I like Dash.
Okay. Yeah, so it's okay right now, and we have future plans that are going to include having an app on the decentralized API, which is Dash platform. It's currently in development on EvoNet, which is kind of like a test net for platform, and we're going to have to be able to do a lot of cool things in the future. But you've said that you wanted to talk about a protocol that we could use today, and that might be beneficial to Dash, called the URL protocol, right?
All right, yeah. Well, it's a way for us to talk and communicate about how we pay each other. But instead of us as humans, it's a way for our apps to talk to each other about how they want to pay with Dash.
And how does that work exactly?
Well, basically, say you want to pay and you want to pay me. I give you a piece of information that says this is how you pay. And it's basically you pay this much to this address, this much to this address, this much to this address. But it can also be extended to say, we also need this data, like we need your shipping address, or we need your phone number so you can go into the rewards system. And I know that the Dash wallet wants to make payments magic, where you don't have to like type in your shipping information or anything. It's like it all works. But it's a way for us to communicate a little bit more advanced than just saying pay to this address. And it's actually really important for us to build apps that can pay multiple people at once.
Okay.
And this is actually awesome. The reason is because we want to remove middlemen, and so that our financial services that Dash offers can have the most trust, can have the least fraud, and prevent people from stealing from each other or having confusion. And as an app developer, the last thing you want to do is touch someone else's money.
Right.
Right? Like, say you make a really great app and you think it's going to help people use Dash for some new thing. I don't know, for paying for car rides, let's say.
Okay.
Now you can develop this app and make it work for people, but if you have to touch the money, then now wherever you live, you're subject to like all kinds of horrible or maybe we'll call them reasonable laws, but you're subject to these rules to prevent fraud. And when our apps can speak more and more effectively with each other, they can pay in a way that makes fraud impossible. So an app developer can make an app where they don't say you pay for a ride. Maybe the developer gets 5 cents for coordinating that ride, but the money goes right from the person who's riding to the person who's driving.
Okay.
And so you don't have to have like a money transmission company with all these lawyers and stuff to make a simple Dash app.
So that's what it does in front of the scenes. But what does it do behind the scenes? You know, like, can you speak on what exactly is happening behind the hood to make this possible?
Oh yeah, under the hood. Instead, you've probably paid with Dash somewhere online. Normally, you get a QR code or a link to pay. It opens up your wallet.
Yeah.
And that code really is just an address, a Dash address, and maybe a Dash amount. So that's all we can represent for that. We can say, I want 1 Dash to this address. Well, that's all we can do. And what we've been using for several years in Bitcoin and then in Bitcoin Cash and a lot of mainstream apps use a payment URL.
Okay.
So instead of an address and an amount, it's a URL. And the wallet gets the data from that URL. And, you know, frankly, that URL could be in the Dash platform. It could be in a third-party URL. It could be anywhere. And that URL tells you, pay this much to this address and this much to that address and this much to that address. And it's JSON. It's very simple for people who make apps. It's super straightforward. And this will, I really think this will unleash incentives for Dash developers to make things where, say, like there's a high school kid, he wants to get into making a Dash app. Well, he can make one where he makes 6 cents every time someone pays for a game, and he doesn't have to have a money transmission license or anything like this. Maybe he can make enough money to, I don't know, pay for camp or like buy some new books.
So is this something that's implemented in other coins' core wallets, or is this something that's just done on top of the core wallets? How does that work?
Oh, this is implemented in many wallets.
Like third-party wallets?
It has broad support in Bitcoin Cash wallets.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't even know if there's core wallet. I don't use any core. I guess I use a Dash core wallet, but I don't use any. I don't think there's a Bitcoin Cash core wallet.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so it's broadly supported. It's supported in things like Electrum and Mycelium and like CoPay by BitPay and Edge Wallet. But I don't think Edge Wallet does it for Dash yet.
Okay, so you've got that. You've got the future of Dash is going to have a decentralized API, like I said. It's also going to have a Dash platform name service, and that's going to be able to store your addresses and stuff like that, the identities on the Dash platform chain. So that's something we will be doing in the future. But yeah, right now I can see that would be something that if you are a Dash developer and you're watching this, it's something that we could be working on. We could always try to live up to what our competition is doing. Also, in the meantime, try to drum up that support for using Dash before we go and do our Dash platform. That's going to do all kinds of cool things. So
well, I think that this works really great with the Dash platform.
Yeah, it could. Yeah.
You want the Dash platform. You want Dash apps to be able to communicate directly with each other. And they want to be able to share the Dash platform, share that data. They might want to have their own data. They're like, a company might need to keep some of their customer information private, for instance. So they might want to keep some in the Dash platform, but we might want to be able to communicate about other data. And so, yeah, adding this is actually really straightforward. And I would love to work with the Dash Core wallet developers. It's really good.
Okay.
It will make the wallet programmable so that any developer can have more powers. Like, okay, so there's this one thing I really want to build for Dash, but I can't. And because it doesn't support it. So I have this for Bitcoin Cash, and we've developed it for Bitcoin SV too. And it allows you to skip the line when you're at like a busy place. We have this running in some businesses here in town, and we call it grab and go. But basically, the way it works, say at the Fresh Press, this popular salad place, okay. They have all this food out in fridges, like salads and I don't know, chia pudding and juices, and you can just grab them and take them up to pay, right? But there's always a huge line. So now we have these codes, like QR codes that kind of look like Dash codes.
Okay.
And they're next to every product. And all you have to do is take your wallet and you scan and pay. And then you can leave.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's like this is the first time that I've been using a Bitcoin payment, and people didn't think I looked weird. They thought I looked awesome. And and this is all possible because this QR code, it's not an address. It's a URL.
Okay.
And basically it goes up and it looks that up in the product catalog, because if one problem here is if it was an address and an amount, it would have to be an amount in Dash. Okay, so that would have to change constantly.
Can I ask you, is that when you hit that QR code, does it go to a centralized server?
It goes to any URL.
Any URL.
All right. Right. So so this one is a URL that we're hosting, but this can be built into any place that supports like HTTP request for a URL.
Okay.
Right. And then, so what it does is it calculates the amount of Dash that they're going to need to pay or at that moment. Otherwise, it doesn't work because you can understand like people's prices need to be fixed in terms of dollars or euro. They can't have just dash like, oh, this is 0.1 dash. Well, what happens to my margins tomorrow when the price moves by 10%?
Yeah, we get that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is awesome, and I can't even imagine. I mean, I can imagine many more things that you can do with URLs, but I don't know what people are going to come up with. I really think this unleashes a lot of awesome power that will allow people to just imagine things and also have a little bit of an incentive. If they are allowed to, so for instance, at the Fresh Press, we've negotiated that every time someone uses one of these, we get 5 cents.
Okay.
Because they don't have to pay a cashier to do this, and they can get more sales. Because sometimes I watch people will walk in and there's a line and people are like, and they just walk right back out again. So we get them more money, and we don't have to touch the money. If it was just an address there, we would have to receive the money and then send it to them, but and cut a fee out. But in this case, the wallet just pays us 5 cents while it pays the business the $3 or whatever that was.
All right. So if you're a Dash developer watching this, talk to Steven about how to implement this, because it does sound pretty interesting. If you're just joining us, I have Steven Zeiler from AnyPay. He's the CEO. We're talking about various crypto topics. And I guess we're going to finish off with the last subject that we were going to talk about today, which is crypto competition in your ecosystem. So you've been running this company for quite a while now. How has the competition gone between all the different coins that you support?
Well, the competition, it depends on where you are. It's interesting. Like in Thailand, people from Bitcoin Cash and from Dash are very close to each other, and sometimes they get together and they go to the same businesses, and they are both using AnyPay, but sometimes they go to separate places. So maybe the culture is different. But the only thing that made Bitcoin Cash go over and beat Dash, I believe, is this grab and go technology, because it makes it so much more convenient for people to buy stuff. Like it cuts the time from like 3-5 minutes to 20 seconds to go get something. And we're opening this up in a busy place in downtown Boston. And so I really want Dash to have this, because I want it to support that, and people can save time. And because I like Dash and want to promote it, but I really like being able to build things that are more awesome.
Yeah, no, true. It sounds like a fantastic idea, and it's something that we should definitely consider, because it's an added feature that we could be using among our other things that we have. So if we can equal the other competition with that, then there's no point in people using that, because we have better security and stuff too, right? So that's going to be a big boon for our competitive edge.
I want to tell people also about the Dash gift card marketplace.
Okay.
You can buy any major gift card for like major retailers, and most major retailers, or a lot of them in the United States at least, at giftcards.dash.org. It's right on dash.org, and you can buy any gift card. And if you do, you use Dash, you get 5 to 7% back. Dash cash back right into your wallet, and it's a really great way to spend your Dash and be able to use it. Maybe the price went up and you want to buy something. Maybe the price went down and you're afraid, or maybe you just want to learn. Like some business owners around here, they wanted to learn, well, what can I do? So we taught him, you can buy some Adidas. And he did. Now he wears his shoes. He's like, I got these with Dash. But the giftcards.dash.org,
okay,
and that's AnyPay. We're processing the payment, so I wanted to tell you about that. We do online payment processing for Dash, and we're open to partnerships with other major retailers. I wanted you to know about that.
Yeah. That's awesome. So do you have anything else to let us know about before we let you go? This has been a great interview. I'm quite happy to have you on the show today.
Well, what do you think about the crypto competition?
What do I think? Well, I think that Dash it has a good leg up on the fact that it has great technology. And I like to describe Dash as the most well-rounded cryptocurrency. Like there might be some other coins that focus on privacy. They might have better privacy. There might be some other coins that focus on speed. They might have better speed. There's other coins that might be focused on governance. They might have better governance. But there is no currency out there that has the most well-rounded experience like Dash has. And I've yet to see one anyway. So I think that if we can build that network effect, that's the thing that we need to build on. Like our technology is great. Our user experience is great. We have some things to work on, as you point out, some things that we could improve. But I think the biggest thing that we have against us is that media blackout that's been going on for years when it comes to Dash, some kind of negative attitudes when it comes to Dash that we have to overcome, and the network effect. Those are our three biggest problems, I think. And but I think that over time we can get over that.
I haven't thought about the network effect. Okay, so you want to look at who creates the network, who expands the network the fastest, and the people I believe who expand the network the fastest are application developers who can create things where people pay small amounts very frequently. Because with an app, you can serve everyone in the world at the same time, depending on how you scale. And so when Dash can align the incentives, like the financial incentive of Dash developers to build applications that both increase the value of Dash and make them little bits of money, that's when you'll see the network growing the fastest. And in the most ways that developers can hook into Dash and grow its network without permission, the better. So that's very, very key, because if we can make apps that use Dash and just for transacting, we don't have to rely on a third party, a central party, or we don't have to wait on development of anything else. That's when we can build awesome things. And so, and when we can align our incentives where we get little bits of Dash and we don't have to ask permission, then that's awesome. And so that's what I really think is going to grow the network the fastest, is incentives minus permission. And so the Dash platform I'm really excited for, because we do need shared data. We need to share data as a network. That's really valuable. And we need to communicate with outside of the Dash network too. And Absolutely. So that's why this payment protocol, it's very simple, and it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to connecting with Dash developers on this.
Okay, let's make it happen. So the Dash developers out there, one more time, if you're watching, get in touch with Steven. Let's get this going. If you have any time anyway, so I know you're busy working on the Dash platform right now, but if you have any other time, I'm sure it won't take that long to implement.
Hey,
and
what do you think? Like, we will pay. How much do you think that we could, can we hire Dash Core Group to add this feature to the Dash wallet? Like, I don't want to just say oh, do it in your spare time and whatever. I think this is important. And personally, I think that this would be because it would easily pay off for Dash if they invested it in it themselves. But I want this, and AnyPay can grow faster if we have this, and grow Dash faster. So I'm open to negotiating to hire them, get some kind of contract, and make it happen.
Okay, well, when we get off the show, shortly afterwards, I'm going to be promoting it and sending it out everywhere. So I'll probably be on Twitter, and I'm going to get, maybe we'll tag Eugene M6, who's one of the lead developers. We can contact Ryan Taylor on Twitter, and then I will see what they have to say about that. So I think it's a good idea too.
Yeah, we can make it work, and we don't want to distract from what they're doing and say, oh, work for us for free or anything. That's ridiculous. So
yeah. For sure.
Cool.
I just want to say one thing before you go about building network effect too, and it's kind of funny because another way of doing it is having meetups, which you cannot go to today.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to be able to share this with even more people, and we will have more meetups.
Awesome. Sorry you couldn't make it. It's time to get maybe a burner car for the wintertime that uses gas.
Yeah, you're completely right. I will have one.
How far away is Dover from where you are?
Well, it's about 15 miles away. Okay. But I don't think it wasn't going to make it.
Right.
It was dropping fast. It was like, oh man, I don't know. It's so cold.
All right. So thanks for coming on the show,
Lesson learned.
Steven. It's Steven Zeiler from AnyPay. Always a great pleasure to have you on. Hopefully we'll have you on the show again sometime.
Right. And go to AnyPay Inc. ANYPAYINC.com, and you can get started for free.
Awesome. Thanks.
Ciao.
Cheers. And